What you should and should not do with ChatGPT. Hi there, I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English lesson number 575 for Thursday, May 25th, 2023. The full lesson is available at plainenglish.com/575. That's thanks to JR, the producer, who takes care of all of that for us. Earlier this week, you learned about ChatGPT, the new large language model that has captured the world's attention. There are pros and cons to ChatGPT. It's good for some things, it's not good for others. So on today's lesson, we'll talk about what you should use ChatGPT for and what you should not use ChatGPT for. In the second half of the lesson, I'll tell you what it means to write something or someone off. And we have a song of the week. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder that the doors are open to our ChatGPT challenge starting June 5th, 2023. To sign up for that free 5-day email course, visit plainenglish.com/GPT. Now we're ready. Let's switch things up and start with the things you should not do with ChatGPT. Then, once we have the cons out of the way, we can talk about some things you can safely do with ChatGPT. Here we go. Number 1, sorry if this is a disappointment, but you can't use ChatGPT as a research tool if you need it to generate correct facts. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. ChatGPT gets facts wrong. But before you write it off entirely, consider this. If you ask a direct question about a basic fact, a fact commonly written on the internet before 2021, then ChatGPT will probably get it right. The example from Monday was, what is the capital of Canada? That is a simple, direct question with a simple answer. The internet's training data is full of material that directly states Ottawa is the capital of Canada, so ChatGPT will get that correct almost every time. But if you ask it, what are some great things to do with children in Ottawa, Canada in the month of September, you might want to check your facts. This is a more subjective question. There's less in the training data to help GPT get the right answer. ChatGPT doesn't research the answer to your questions. It only predicts the correct answer based on what words are close to other words in its training set. The internet might not have a lot of data about what to do with children in Ottawa, Canada in September. So when there's less training data on the specific topic, then the model needs to rely more on its predictive capabilities. That's where things can go wrong. That's when it starts making things up out of thin air. And unfortunately, it doesn't ever tell you how much confidence it has in its answers. So you never know whether its answers are based primarily on data or primarily on guessing, and that leaves you blind. In these cases, you'd be better off doing research the old-fashioned way, searching on Google. Number 2, you can't use ChatGPT to answer questions about values or to express a point of view. ChatGPT isn't a person and doesn't have logic or reasoning skills. It also doesn't have values. So if you ask it a question about right or wrong, or if you ask it a question about what you should do, then you won't get a satisfying answer. You can't ask ChatGPT to do any thinking or analysis. What's more, ChatGPT is trained on data from the internet, and the internet contains some great data, but it also contains some inflammatory, biased, discriminatory language too. So all that is baked into the cake. Buyer beware. Number 3, you can't use ChatGPT for anything recent. Its training data ends in 2021. Until the model changes fundamentally, you won't be able to use it for anything recent unless you program it into the prompt. If you ask for a list of books by your favorite author, it won't include anything later than 2021. So by now, you must be thinking, ChatGPT is useless. It produces incorrect facts, can't reason, can't analyze, and doesn't know anything later than 2021. Next. Hear me out. There are several things ChatGPT is very good for. You just have to know what to use it for. There are a lot of good applications, but I'm going to give you a few general categories. The first thing I like to use ChatGPT for is to generate ideas. Earlier, I gave an example prompt. What are some great things to do with children in Ottawa, Canada in the month of September? ChatGPT told me to take a child to a writers' festival. Warning, do not take a child to a writers' festival. That is no kid's idea of fun. ChatGPT also told me to go to the auto show. Great idea. But the auto show is in March. Oops. However, the response did give me several ideas of things to do in Ottawa, some of which are great for children, some of which are actually good in September. I confirmed. So I used my human intelligence in combination with ChatGPT's artificial intelligence to learn about what to do in Ottawa in September. On this prompt, ChatGPT isn't a silver bullet, but it isn't an epic fail either. How else can you use ChatGPT to generate ideas? I said before, it can't make decisions and doesn't have values or reasoning skills. But you can ask ChatGPT to make a list of pros and cons of a decision. That won't be the complete list, but it can at least get you thinking about the decision. I do this myself. The second half of each plain English lesson is an English expression. So sometimes I ask ChatGPT to generate some example sentences using the expression. And if ChatGPT produces, say, 7 examples, I won't like 4 of them. I'll just reject 4 right away. The other 3 I can work with. They're usually very general. They're not great examples, so I don't use them directly. But it gets my mind thinking. It helps me generate my own ideas. It kind of gets me off to a good start. That brings me to the second thing you can do with ChatGPT, which is to get your brain started. Sometimes just getting started is half the battle. Do you respond to a lot of emails, customer complaints? If so, you can have ChatGPT draft the reply to the email. If a customer complains, you can ask ChatGPT to write a gracious reply. You'll read it, of course. You'll edit it if necessary. You might even change it entirely. But often, the draft will be just fine. And instead of writing a whole response from scratch, you can use ChatGPT to get you started, and that can save you some mental energy. If you manage a social media account for a business, you might give ChatGPT 5 facts about a new product and ask it to draft the content of the post. You can ask ChatGPT to speak in your brand voice. And you'll read the result. You'll probably change it, but it gets you started. Here's something else ChatGPT can do. It can manipulate language in different styles. A lot of people on the internet are having fun with this, saying things like, "How do I change the brakes in a car? Explain it in the style of Shakespeare." Good, wholesome fun. But let's say you're reading an article about something that you don't really understand very well. You can ask ChatGPT to summarize it in simpler language. And it can summarize or rewrite the article in a way that's easier for you to understand. You can also check the tone of your messages. For example, in business communication, I know I tend to be more direct and to the point. That's not always the tone that's most appropriate. So I can paste an email and ask ChatGPT to rewrite it in a tone that's friendlier. The same goes the other way. Let's just say you're not good at writing formal, business-like text, but you need a LinkedIn profile. You can give ChatGPT your bio and ask it to write your bio in a professional way suitable for LinkedIn. Obviously, you'll read it before you post it, but this can help you find the right tone for the right situation. Yes, I do realize the irony of what I said before, and yes, it was a joke. I said the old-fashioned way of doing research is to search on Google. How times change. Well, you can be on the cutting edge of the changing times with ChatGPT, and you can do it all with us, your favorite English learning platform. That's because, as I said on Monday, we are hosting a free 5-day challenge about ChatGPT. It's not about learning English. The prompts, you guys are going to love the prompts. They are a lot of fun. The prompts are not about English learning. They are about real life. But this is how I trick you into improving your English. None of the prompts, I promise you, none are about grammar, expressions, quizzes, none of that. The prompts are fun and useful things you can do in ChatGPT, but you're going to do them with us in English. And without realizing it, you're going to improve your English in the process because you'll be interacting with the tool in English. And listen, you'll be reading and writing in this challenge. This is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. Now, the more people who join, the more people who participate, the more fun it's going to be because there's a community element. It's going to be on WhatsApp. So go ahead and join now by visiting plainenglish.com/GPT and sign up there. The challenge starts June 5th, so you've got a little bit over a week before it starts. But sign up now so you have plenty of time to get settled in before the challenge starts. plainenglish.com/GPT. To write something off is to reject it. And specifically, it means to decide that something is not worth your attention or not worth your consideration. You're not going to think about it anymore. It's just not worth it. Now listen, I know a lot of you have written ChatGPT off. Not all of you, and maybe not most of you, but a lot of you have heard the horror stories and you have decided, this isn't for me. I don't need to learn this. This isn't worth my time. Now, I told you in the lesson, don't write ChatGPT off. This is going to be important. Maybe it's not perfect right now, but you are going to remember the first time you used ChatGPT. This is real. Now listen, you have my full permission to write off NFTs, non-fungible tokens. I have written them off. NFTs are not the future. NFTs are not real. NFTs have no value. Nobody is going to want them. They are a joke. I am not paying attention to them. You do not need to pay attention to them. You can write them off. You can reject them. You can stop paying attention. The metaverse. You also have my permission to write that off. You do not need to dedicate a single brain cell to thinking about the metaverse. I put the Oculus goggles on once. JR brought them over to my house and I said, this is not happening. This is not the future. I was skeptical about the metaverse. Then I put the Oculus goggles on and that was all I needed to completely write the metaverse off, at least for now. But don't do that with ChatGPT. Okay, it's silly sometimes. It's often wrong. It feels like a game. But I am here to tell you that you are going to want to know how to use this. It's going to get better. It's going to be different. You are not going to want to miss this moment. Do not write ChatGPT off. I remember when Google first came out. The previous search engines were Yahoo and a few others. They weren't very good. The home pages were cluttered with links and pictures and graphics and pop-ups, just an assault on the senses. Believe it or not, before Google came out, there were big websites that called themselves web portals. Now, before Google, internet users didn't know what to do or where to go. We needed a portal like Yahoo to tell us what pages to visit. I swear to you this is true. And then Google came out, and it was their logo and one small box on a white page. And I swear to you, this is what people thought. What am I supposed to do with this? Where am I supposed to click? They thought. How do I even know what to search for? They thought. And you know what they did? They wrote it off. They wrote Google off. They said, this is not worth my attention. I'm going to keep logging on to AOL.com, Alta Vista, Excite, Lycos, or Yahoo, where they'll tell me what links to click on, what the weather forecast is, whatever. So what are some other contexts in which you might dismiss something as being unworthy of your attention? How about dating? Are you the kind of person who quickly writes off a potential match at the first sign of trouble? Or are you a little more forgiving? You can overlook some imperfections early on. I think in the age of dating apps, people are quick to write others off. They're quick to say, no thanks, you're not worth my attention anymore. Block. I work with a lot of contractors at Plain English. Now, years ago, I had contracted with this company that was supposed to help me with the website. I built the original website myself, but I needed some technical help when it, kept crashing. So I had this company that promised to help in emergencies and help with technical problems. And they were great whenever I could get their attention. The problem was, when I needed their help, I couldn't get them to respond. Days would go by and they wouldn't respond to emails. I felt like they had written me off. Maybe I was too small of a client. I don't know. Eventually, I wrote them off and switched providers. JR's song of the week is Daylight by David Kushner. This is a new one. It came out this year. It's got a mellow sound, pianos, and vocals. He's 22 years old from Chicago. The lyrics of this song are all about internal conflict, resisting temptation, and trying to do right. Daylight by David Kushner is the song of the week. Now that's all for today's Plain English. Remember, the Plain English ChatGPT challenge is open for business. It starts on June 5th, but you are going to want to sign up now at plainenglish.com/GPT. And listen, if you're a skeptic, this is for you. If you don't believe in ChatGPT, if you don't believe in artificial intelligence, I put that in air quotes, then still do the challenge. Why? So at least you know what it is. You'll get in there, you'll do the activities, you can still have a lot of fun with this, even if you don't believe in it. And it's easy. The challenge will be fun because it's with me. I created the activities. I had fun doing it. We're going to all do it together. Now, the irony is not lost on me, by the way. ChatGPT is more fun with other people. We're not going to let ChatGPT remove the human element from our lives. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but the ChatGPT challenge will help you and me get to know each other better. I'm not going to say any more than that. Even if you don't care about artificial intelligence, do this because it's a fun activity in English. plainenglish.com/ChatGPT. Okay, we'll be back next week with new lesson topics. Ed Sheeran, the singer, was in court in London. He was sued for ripping off the music on one of his hit songs. Is that true? Is that really what happened? We'll tell you the result of the court case and what the trial was all about. See you on Monday.